Hearing that, IU burst out laughing. What kind of child is this? This is clearly a demonic child. But she was convinced anyway. Ninja Hun will complete this test.
Moves lecturies.
He just walked in. Immediately I discovered that there was an ocean of mana in front of me. Not a block anymore. Normally, in this world, mana is like oxygen. It is essential for spell casting, or activate skills. But if exposed to too large an amount, for a long time, may cause heart failure. Lungs lead to death. Based on what I remember, that's the only way to get you out of this place. It's about finding the door. Connection between whirlpools. He silently tried to breathe deeply to concentrate. Suddenly, I felt something special. Follow up. The position he felt was very quick. Immediately see the center of the whirlpool. There was a mass of crystal radiating out. The mana flow is quite strong. So strong. It contains almost all the mana in this place. While the Ninja Hun is inside, struggling to find a way out. Then manager Park Suzy spoke up again. How long do you think it will take him? IU happily replied to me in 40 minutes. While being the fastest person in the country. When he heard that, he said what he thought. There will probably be two possibilities. One is that he can't get past this block of mana. Two is that he will create a new 6th century. Both are chatting happily. Then the grateful EU suddenly shouted. Son de, look over there. Park manager also followed suit. The vision just changed. Immediately I discovered that the mana block was starting to crack. Looking at the clock, only 10 minutes had passed. Oh my god! What kind of buffalo people are like this? What the hell is going on in there? Go back a few minutes ago. After seeing the crystal, containing that terrifying amount of mana, Ninja Hun asked himself that. Is this the core that is maintaining this mass of mana? Or not? If so, smash it flat. No need to find a way out anymore. Someone once said, when people touch you, you touch them. But if something wants to collapse, we have to let it collapse. The quick-witted young man thought he would do it right away. He swam to the next stone. Easily hold it in your hand. Then, by the way, he crushed it extremely decisively. The surrounding space because of his recent actions, which immediately made a cracking sound. Then it started to crack. Look, the giant mass of mana was slowly collapsing right in front of him. Park manager Sunda and union president Zo Sung-on, standing outside and being sprayed with glue, became stiff. Park Suez couldn't believe his eyes. It used to be often. Only 7 of magicians can escape from the mana block. Level B people take 2 hours. Level A is about an hour and a half. As for level S, it takes about half an hour to an hour. The 6th world record is held by the EU camera. With 36 minutes, I thought that was a lot of work. Who would have thought that Min Ja-hun could break her 6th century? With a difference of up to 26 minutes. He was so excited. He immediately ran to grab his hand and praised him. Amazing, good job, Ja-hun. He escaped from the mass of mana. In just 10 minutes. The ninja's ears widened because he didn't understand what was going on. Then it was Zo's turn to gratefully ask. Why did you escape from the mana block so quickly? The Ninja Hun heard that and rubbed his wrist. Just calmly answered. I found in the mana block something like, I just crushed a crystal stone. After hearing what he said, she became even more frightened. That crystal contains all the mana of an entire giant block. A normal false awakening. I can't even find it. Not to mention crushing it. You can do that. Then only one thing is certain. That's because of the amount of mana in his body. You passed that whole block already. She was delighted. Hastily let go and speak quickly before it's too late. Okay, ninja kiss. I swear I will make you the greatest magician. Are you ready yet? These past few days, the Ninja Hun keeps showing off and disappears. Made my mother and best friend quite worried. They wait for you right in front of the door. Because no matter how many times I tried to call, Ninja Hun still hasn't picked up a single call. At this time, the super luxury car Rolls-Royce Sweaty, priced at $12.8 million US, owning a motor, etc. The 12 Turbo provides 453 horsepower and torque. Coming from far away. Look at the Ninja Hun stepping down from that huge cargo. The two rice-powered cameras immediately started whispering to each other. Kim Ju spoke up. Before, that car seemed very expensive. Then why did the ninja kiss him from within? That's what came out. His mother looked at her son waving at her and turned pale. Talk to Kim Jo-young. There can be no such thing as Yahoo. It's not a good idea to join an organization. Also that day, Kim Jo-ru slept at Min Ja-hun's house for one night. Because her parents were busy with work, they had to go abroad. Two people sit in a room to talk to each other. About you changing from warrior to mage. She really couldn't believe it. A previous person. Always wanted to be a warrior, but suddenly, when you say change, you change immediately. But I mean, he's already made up his mind, no matter how much she wants to console him. It also doesn't work anymore. In another location. It's getting late afternoon. The sound of crows was continuously heard around. It's so sad to hear. Man. Plunge the blade down into the giant snake's head. Finish this mission. The guy is Min Cno. Cool and handsome. So this must be the main character, right? The main character's father. A warrior came forward and spoke. Sir Min Cno. This trip we hunted so successfully. It's all thanks to you. I don't really remember the last time we went hunting. As gentle as, how long has this been? He said this. He immediately offered to invite him to his guild. The only thing was that Min Cno refused straight away. The warrior still refused to give up. He quickly grabbed the man's arm. Then continued the song of pleading. Well, don't do that. If it were you, I would be here. Then our skeleton guild. I guarantee I will give you the most favorable conditions. So annoying. Just 2 words are enough to express contempt. Full body Min Cno. Instantly emitted an extremely overwhelming amount of mana. Like chains binding the opponent's mind. Then pulled away his memory. Holding it in his hand, he muttered darkly. That trivial greed. Truly a quality of a human being. He suddenly paused and then continued speaking. Are not. Humans are not the only species like that. 10 blackening points. With such a villainous appearance. If the father is better than the son, the family is blessed. If the son is better than the father, there is mourning in the family. Then, after he finished speaking, he slowly disappeared. Right before that warrior's eyes. Leaving him alone with this extremely senseless question. What am I doing here? The next day, the Ninja Hun went to Zoe's place to study magic. 2 people just met. She immediately said it before starting the lesson. First, I want to check it out. His intuition and reflexes in combat. What happened? In other words, we will have a duel. Ninja Hun thought he heard wrong. Should I ask about dueling again? It seems like just starting out is a bit difficult. She just doesn't care. Just keep thinking that. Someone who can escape the mana block within 10 minutes. No matter what type, you have courage. According to the person who struck first was the Ninja Hun. But due to an occupational disease. So instead of using magic, I immediately took a defensive stance. Zhou Yong'an is in no hurry to do anything. Which begins to evaluate its opponents. From top to bottom. One turn the Ninja Hun is placing his left foot first. Slightly bend your knees. Try to lower your shoulders as much as possible. It's clear that the position helps avoid attacks and makes it easier to move. Just like how warriors use it. With this understanding. So right when the Ninja Hun threw his first punch. It was she who recognized and stopped it. Ninja Hun didn't expect it. My opponent reacted so quickly. He quickly withdrew. Reach back and then jump back to widen the distance. In his mind he thought, I thought I would at least get 1 hit. Yet this person is just a healer. But this must be the level of a conqueror. Genuine product grade. The price is real and Zoe gratefully walks towards him step by step. Then specify the job. He still hasn't given up his warrior habits. There has been no work in the past. A magician would recklessly rush forward like that. She asked him to tell me. Biggest difference between a warrior and a magician. What is it? Replied the ninja. It must be the range of fighting opponents at close range. Or long range. After listening, she nodded with satisfaction before continuing. That's right, someone with the profession of a magician. Someone who often weakens opponents at a distance. Then he came close to hitting the decisive shot. But he tried to pull closer. My distance from my opponent is too much. Is a magician. The defense stat is already low. So if you fight in close combat, you will lose the battle very quickly. Now it's Zoe's turn to attack. She made it clear that she would fight seriously. Because I want to show you clearly what a real magician is. How will you fight? There will definitely be injuries. But what are you afraid of? Because she is a healer after all. Play till the end, my dear. As soon as she finished speaking, she countered her first attack. A magic bullet shot out. With extremely decisive speed. Fly straight towards the person standing opposite. The ninja Hun immediately leaned back. Quickly flip around to avoid it. The next turn was his turn to attack. So without hesitation, activate the lightning chain. Control them all at the same time towards the rose. Grateful. A huge explosion appeared right before the ninja Hun's eyes. Following that was the guild master's voice. A level A skill is also lightning. You're hiding quite a bit, aren't you? While he was still staring straight ahead. Then the girl moved to the side. Since when did magic tricks exist? The holy arrow was cast again. Aimed straight at his chest and flew towards him. Come on, Ninja Hun clearly saw it. But this attack is too fast and too dangerous. It was almost impossible for him to avoid it in time. You can only stand still and endure the battle. A bright flash of light was accompanied by a sharp explosion. Godzo happily smiled and criticized even though it was. How good are the skills? But if you can't hit the target, well, just throw it all away. Don't you think so? She was still convinced after the recent attack. The ninja Hun couldn't stand again. Unexpectedly, mixed in with the smoke, a silhouette appeared. That's good, brother. She couldn't hide her excitement and confessed immediately. What a surprise. I did reduce the power of my words a bit. But I don't think you can still stand. It doesn't stop there. There were more holy arrows in succession, fired from a magic circle. However, he did not stand still and endure the battle anymore, which activates a skill with a universal name to defeat it. Zoe was so grateful that he could hardly believe his eyes. In the beginning of aesthetics, he thought of a way to respond and destroy your skills, just for such a short time, after that lightning attack just now. Then they continued to change turns. Misa threw chain lightning at the president's feet. Then take advantage of the moment the other person isn't paying attention, which causes it to bounce back up. Unfortunately, she reacted too quickly. Immediately create a shield to block the attack. Ninja Hun hasn't stopped yet, and continuously launch chain lightning attacks. Zhou Sung-un then turned on the defense shield. But in my heart I kept thinking, I don't understand why he can use magic. No need to chant such a spell. With a magician. Then the mantras. Something that will always accompany the use of magic. Like a law. There are also cases. Chant the spell silently with the price. The power of the mantra is weakened. And this ninja partner is something. Not human anymore. The ninja coughed and looked at the moves he used. All ineffective. To the woman on the opposite side, it was quite bitter. Yet it's only been a while. He was suddenly thrown away again. Flip around in the middle. But it's impossible to know. Zoe happily came forward and helped him stand up. Ninja Hun remembers the moment he fell. In that moment, you don't even know how close the opponent was and how they attacked you. No blade of grass along the road can reach the clouds. Now you know. How different is the difference between me and this level. Grateful Zoe suddenly spoke up. While observing his fighting style, I had this thought. Well, everyone has thought about this once or twice. Times, but no one can do it in a fighting way. Only you can learn. What do you think? Are you interested? She paused for a moment, then continued. From now on, please call me master. And congratulations on becoming my first disciple. Hey, when you are born, you will be raised and taught by a rich woman. Go home. Then continue studying in a group with her cute neighbor. Kim Jo-young only took a pen after gently kicking 4 jars of ice cream. Begin to demonstrate combat magic. Strengthening magic and healing magic. Although the categories are different, but are considered the 3 most important types. But, just after saying a few words, he started nagging. You're pretty good too. Is it true that you changed your profession from warrior to that of a warrior? But other people's magic spells take months to learn. But it took him a few days to learn. I started learning magic before you. But if this continues, then you want to catch up with me. It doesn't take much time either. Said it right and said it loudly. Ninja Hun's answer was like rubbing salt into the girl's heart. So what, teacher? Magic just suits me. My aptitude test showed that. That's it. While 2 pairs of tired lips were quarreling with each other. Then before your eyes, Ninja Hun. Suddenly magical chains appeared. Comes with feathers. A young man suddenly appeared. Then came over and whispered in his ear. Do you really want to choose that path? But halfway, again, Kim's voice was interrupted. What was everything he wondered just now? Is it my imagination or is it real? Because that sound is very strange. And when I remember the pig goddess' gentle reminder. Ninja Hun lifted his spirits once again. If you don't worry, if you study carefully, it will take 2 months. Sometimes you really lose your color. No kidding. Now if I can't travel long distances, then that's it. I look for a shortcut. In a world of conquerors. Mana booster. A pill that permanently increases mana. For those who use it. And it is an item that all magicians covet. A rotting black pot emitted the smell of dead fish. Can chase away anything that dares to come close. The ninja got mad and threw the patch in his hand away. Then he cursed out loud. How many times has this happened to me? I have used up all 3 sets of ingredients. He wanted to try cooking a mana-enhancing potion. But where is the pure white? Can't see. All I see is a black color worse than sewage. At the present time, no one knows how yet to create mana-enhancing potions. According to the flow of events after 5 years, this recipe will be an alchemist. World-class, shared publicly. So why are you so black? Even if the recipe and ingredients are available. But it was impossible to cook it successfully. Well, cooking has gotten to this point. Then go find Li Yesang. Thanks to the inventor himself. Cooking is sometimes easier to succeed. Let's talk a little about this character. The day the world tree appeared. Bringing monsters to cause trouble everywhere. There are only a few people. You can train yourself as quickly as possible. One of them is. The man is known as the Quick Swordsman. Lee Jason after the first awakened guy disappeared. Without leaving any trace. Then his appearance. As if to take over the mantle of that old awakener. And become the first class conqueror in Korea is his youngest son. It was the person he was about to find. The destination this time is Daegu. A place that is currently abandoned. Because of the monster outbreak. They can come out from anywhere. So people always worry about your own life. But there is still another reason. But people like you come. That's because of Mu Academy. Ninja Hun walks around the academy. With a temporary student ID card around his neck. According to his memory, he was his senior. Lee Sang. Belongs to the combat department. But he has no talent. As well as daring to confront violence. When you still don't know where that guy is. Then suddenly there was noise around. The collision involved a few people standing in the crowd. Can't wait to talk to each other. Should we stop them? Another guy immediately refused to stop them. What are you planning to do? What if I get into trouble for helping that stuttering guy? My grades this semester are already very low. The ninja looked disdainful. But that's fine. Because you're going to mess this place up. Because no one wants to get into the grave anyway. The girls jerked off the Mirza Hun porch. Gang walked in front of the bullies. Also convenient to hold the laser. When he staggered and almost fell, the bully just struck. Seeing someone interrupting my fun. Then he asked arrogantly, "Who are you? What business do you need from our stuttering brat?" Saying that, he walked over and put his arm around his shoulder and asked, "You're the stuttering little brother, aren't you?" I didn't know he had a younger brother. The two people are nothing alike. I mean, he didn't say anything about his family, so I thought the monsters had killed them all. The smelly mouth is still ugly. Guys deserve to be flicked 3 times. The ninja angrily pushed the man's hand away from him. That action unintentionally angered that crazy dog. He didn't care how he looked at him. Feel free to ask questions to the person in front of you. It's best you go to the hospital. Can you still go? The big guy who bullied his classmates got angry when they ignored him. He grabbed my collar, kissed me, and raised his eyebrows threateningly. I speak honestly.
Don't you listen?
You want to get your ass kicked, right? Adolescent. People grabbed me by the collar several times a week. So I decided not to ignore this guy. He remembered his friend Kim Jo-young's instructions. Have a clear image in your head. Then calculate the magic formula. Build curses and chants. You understand, those are the basics of magic. Ninja Hun naturally understands them. But let's recite the spell and then do it. Like normal magicians. It's too colorful. So you do it right away. The arrow, after being activated, immediately fired a magic arrow at close range, making the big man's eyes widen in pain. Everything happened so fast. We didn't have time to do anything. Outside let out a miserable sound, then staggered back a few steps. Several people stood around to witness this scene. Immediately began to mumble loudly. What the hell just happened? Neymar, it doesn't matter. Did anyone just see what he did? Just now, it was a holy arrow. You were the starry sky. It broke the arm of an experienced warrior. It's so easy, but some people still openly criticize it. Maybe it's because he's weaker than he looks. He's always arrogant as if he's very strong. If you say something bad, please don't say it out loud. The bully has been subjected to many criticisms. Bitterly wants to play a bloody match with the person who just beat him. He broke his arm without saying a word. Pull out your sword. Then he aimed straight at the ninja's temple and panned the kiss. The pupils flashed brightly. Ninja Hun applies what he is taught. Immediately perform a defensive attack. There is a mana shield name. The sword in the big man's hand bounced back. Then it flew straight out of his hand. At the same time, the ninja approached. Press your right hand straight into the bully's face. Good man, please accept my inheritance. A holy arrow skill is activated. A fatal blow to that guy's face. Red blood splashed out, accompanied by eyes rolling white like a boiled pig. The young man who liked to bully his classmates fell down immediately. After that, there was no more movement. Good young people don't want to make things more complicated. So after beating someone, my parents couldn't see it, so they used medicine to cure it. The ninja took out a bottle of medicine. Next, remove the lid. Pour that viscous solution down the other person's face. Not only that, he happily complimented, "Whoa. I don't know who makes this medicine, but it's effective. Once finished, turn back to your seat." Lisa came over and said it. Now let's go to the infirmary. The ninja Hun's mouth clearly said that he would go to the medical room. Yet the two kept walking in circles without getting anywhere. At this time, Lee Jae-sang spoke up to stop the medical room. "Not that direction, Dad." The ninja Hun heard that and now stopped walking and spoke. "But you don't seem to be famous here. Surely no one will hear." When Lee came over, he dined when he heard this. "The person who just helped me was sent by my father." He asked him if that was the case. Then the ninja Hun denied it outright. "If not, how would I know who your father is?" But just finished speaking. Again receiving judgmental looks from the other person. The young man's personality is like a sailor. Get straight to work. I have something to ask of you. Can you help me make a medicine? Before he could finish speaking, he screamed, "What medicine? I don't know how to do that." Ninja Hun knew this person would refuse. Should have taken the bottle from earlier. Just used the laser in front of him. But ask the person who posted this. Black market is you, right? One glance at that pale face and the ninja knew it. He's been talked into a black heart. The black market is a trading system. Completely conceal everything related to the sale. But what you get is also because of the system. Nanny is still operating normally at the market. Lee Sang is very bad at lying. Meet more young people. Ninja Hun has just activated the chicken driving skill. It didn't take long for him to nod in agreement. He put the empty bottle in Lee Goat's hand and said, "I'm not bringing this up to threaten you or anything. I'm just in dire need of an alchemist. Just talented. It's the person who can make the medicine I want. Odds after both are finalized." Immediately went to Lee Jae-sang's office. Let's discuss more about making mana-boosting potions. At first he didn't even believe it could be done. But just a second later, immediately he turned around and sat down to calculate how to cook the medicine. Seeing the other person keep nagging. Because you are afraid that you will not succeed. Ninja Hun immediately said that 7 defeats were okay. I decided to invest in seniors. All because I believe he is a capable person. Investing will of course sometimes fail. Don't be afraid that Lisa Sang will be completely convinced by those words. Even though that young man has left. But he was still quite emotional. From a young age his character was weak. Not as talented as other siblings. A child lost his mother at a young age and was left alone. Unable to gain father's recognition. So when others trust you like that, I really couldn't help but wanted to cry. Countless holy arrows were shot. The ninja continued to dodge and dodge. Then turn on the defense again. To counter the second attack. From Zo Sung On's side, active skill Holy Arrow has been activated. He responded to the opponent with all his attacks. Exactly the same, only with a much stronger force. The guild president's shield is cracking. Zo's gratitude was truly unexpected. He can quickly get stronger. Such an outrageous way. Ninja Hun prepares to unleash a chain lightning move. The opponent summons a holy arrow. However, right when they were about to play a bloody match, then the manager ran to stop him. Oh my god. The training room floor is made from dungeon metal. They've plowed it all to pieces. Look and see if it's okay at all. If he doesn't come to ask. They rest. Then maybe this whole room will be exposed. While the two people rested between rounds, Zo Sung-un repeated the story. He wanted to attack the dungeon again. She heard him say he wanted to conquer the dungeon. Because if you want to see how effective the training is, you can say whatever you want. With your current abilities. A level 1 dungeon is just like breakfast, right? Do your best, yes. It's also about eating and eating. God knows what to eat for breakfast. Ninja Hun only wishes. It would be nice if it was a real level E dungeon, bosses. The dungeon is a goat level monster. It's not easy to eat at all. If it was you in your previous life, there might not even be a chance to fight it. Don't say anything now. A few days later, Ninja Hun ran to Lee Jae-sang's brother. To get medicine. Look at his eyes as black as a panda. Seems reputable. There's no need to talk about medicine anymore. He took the pill and put it in his mouth. This thing is definitely a good product. The magic power immediately increased by 15 points. Looking haggard, he can roll to the ground at any moment. He happily praised a few words and then left. Go let him rest well. The time left for him to level up is 9 days. At 22:47 tomorrow you will definitely fight the boss. Only when it comes out will be fine. The next day he was again managed by the park. Suenza took him to the guild's level E dungeon. Different from last time. This trip he was more prepared. These are necklaces and rings and Vanki earrings too. This set of 3 equipment items all have the effect of stealing mana. For an apprentice like you, there is still some support, both in strength and appearance. Everything is done and in order. At this time, the new ninja Hun confidently walked through the dungeon gate. Thanks to the heavenly help of the nanny system, which seems to be the easiest place to clean, turned into a killing field of him again. The ninja Hun was thrown from above to the ground, just like last time. However, only now did he realize it after upgrading himself. There is a very ominous flow of magical power here, creeping into every corner. He guessed that this was the boss aura. Once you defeat it, then you will have the opportunity to meet your great enemy again. Daughter of Loki and some nanny gods. The skeleton gunner was the monster that greeted him first. The arrow immediately flew away. There is one thing. Now you know how to create a mana shield. So there's no way we can move our arms and legs like before. The ninja Hun glanced at it and then coldly said hello. My old friend has a lot of things to ask you. By the way, there are zombies here. He will show them what a magic warrior is. The ninja rushed forward and summoned an arrow. If talking about long-range attacks, cannot be equal to the profession of a magician. But the damage is nothing to discuss. The first enemy disappears quickly. Next, he used his bare hands to press another monster's head. Talking about close-range attacks. It's not as good as the warrior profession. But in the end, it's still strong enough to crush it. Makes the opponent unable to raise their head. Light judgment skill is activated. With wide area damage. Successfully carry all enemy troops to the altar. Same turn. At the same time, the park manager is outside on the phone. Then suddenly I noticed a strange aura approaching. He felt quite worried. Because I haven't received any reports about being here. Someone else will appear besides them. He even intended to draw his sword. Then I saw a car coming. The girl named Iranju got out of the car. By the way, say hello a few times. She came today. It's to handle some of the guild's affairs. But said he wanted to see him more. Oh my god, Suinza knows it all too well. She just said it for fun. Since graduating, she has never contacted you. So why bother going so far? Just to visit. Bonbio Yenju seems quite busy. Stop dialing the phone and then call someone. She stood in front of the dungeon entrance and asked again. And you're managing this dungeon? Parks calmly replied. Why do outsiders care about this matter? Yet she still hasn't stopped. After kicking, park manager was demoted to custodian. Even teased that. Just heard some rumors about the guild president. Zo Sung-on is sick. Susie's expression immediately became more unsightly. This guy is not even shy. That said, we have a lot of eyes and ears on our side. That's why it's so easy to get news like that. I don't understand what her ultimate goal is, but still stubbornly asked until the end. Minza-hun with an extremely nosy attitude. Manager Park has been patient for a long time and can't stand it anymore. Immediately showed an attitude of chasing away guests. This is also not the case. But outsiders like you don't need to care. At this point, Iranjus Bonbio stinks. Ask her pompously. Blame Sunda for being too arrogant and rigid. Because he refused to reveal anything to me. Then drive straight. Return to the ninja Hun's side. Dark. He sat alone on a pile of monster corpses. Waiting for the boss to come find me. After getting dressed, the young man certainly looked completely different. Frankly speaking, it looks boring and cool. Different from that good boy interface. Many systems have just sent notifications. The dungeon boss has arrived. He smiled with satisfaction, then spoke confidently. Long time no see. This time will be much different than before. The dark shadow is a dark monster with a chaotic appearance. As soon as it saw him, it immediately launched an attack. Ninja Hun quickly jumped up high to avoid a preemptive attack. Next, pay the enemy. A series of holy arrows accurately entered its body. The last shot seemed quite painful, causing it to cover its face and scream loudly. 10 bright eyes, clearly bitter, stared at him. But the layer of snow below suddenly rose. Countless sharp thorns. Ninja Hun took a quick step to avoid it. Don't let yourself get injured. Next, step to the right again. 2 steps. Successfully wriggle out of its thorny network. Only then did he speak up. You cannot gain the upper hand. So I'm starting to get angry. Now it's your turn to counterattack. Ninja Hun activates logic skills. Control them to fly and attack at the same time. Then tie it tightly from top to bottom. It's all over. Then activate the lightning. Paralyzes the monster's body. However, that may not be enough to defeat the Dark Knight. Ninja Hun immediately activated another skill. A series of holy arrows simultaneously rained down. Crush its face. Fresh blood spurted out massively, causing the black stomach to scream continuously in pain. Soon. But the system sends a warning message. The boss fell into a state of rage, with the indexes increasing by 15 times at the same time. At first, the situation suddenly turned upside down. Ninja Hun is surrounded by something called Corpse Seal. Attached is a notice line. If only within 10 minutes, he couldn't defeat the dungeon boss, will receive the penalty of sudden death. It's just that this thing is so weird. Even though he tried multiple times to use Universal to repel it, they are also disabled. I heard a guttural laugh somewhere echoing. In the middle stage. That's why you understand the problem. Ninja Hun angrily shouted at the pig. How can you interfere like that? What game are you playing that makes you so rude? Time passes slowly. Right when he was about to strike to destroy the boss. To save my life. Then the Black Knight turned around and ran away. He quickly launched the holy arrow towards it. But this guy is cunning. As soon as he saw the owner coming to save him, he immediately ran away. Not only that, he was also grumpy towards you. The hot-blooded devil rushed up to the top of his head. Ninja Hun is planning to give the boss a storm. Wide area attack. To purify all the bad breath. Then it's bad luck to stick with them. Shocking move from its eyes. He couldn't move for a few seconds. But that's enough for him to play badly. Use strong suction. A blow like heaven hit his body. If only we couldn't get close. Then you don't even want to come closer. A new skill with the same name. Once activated. Immediately unleash the power of a whirlwind. Covering his body. Causes agility to temporarily increase. The ninja raised his hand high and scolded it. You think he'll just blindly rush towards you. Divine Star. Withdrawal. The active skill called lightning flashed brightly. Makes it blind. In an instant, countless chains poured down and tightly bound the Black Knight's body. That's when he took the opportunity to land on its face. The Black Musk boss saw something bad. Immediately summoned zombies to save me. But I've been bitter at you guys for a long time. It's easy to run. Don't hesitate any longer. The golden light of judgment immediately fell down. Scan everything. The last seconds gradually passed. Wait until the time ends. That was also the time when those monsters died and followed the Lord to heaven. The first challenge he passed. In the last seconds of the sudden death penalty, the goddess who governs death has now appeared. Along with the invitation. Indeed, that person chose you for a reason. Come here, my boy. Come to my temple, I invite you in. Dungeon boss. After being defeated, the system was immediately flooded with notifications. Items and messages. You just increased 3 levels. Space slowly crumbles and collapses, revealing an extremely strange new scene. Before the Ninja Hun's eyes. Now it is the Temple of Pigs. However, she invited him to her house to play. But he refused to mention it lightly. There are no ferocious dogs in the house. Oh my God. A monster shaped like a giant dog. Jumped to the top. Aggressively opened his mouth wide. At this rate, it's obvious that he wants to eat you up. Fortunately, the voice of the Gamma Pig suddenly came from the distance. Bring guests into the house. The monster guarding the temple now agrees. Close your mouth. Turn around and leisurely walk ahead to guide him. Inside the temple is quite cold. Everywhere is covered thickly with snowflakes. She limped forward. But first thing I want to say, It is, praise him for overcoming the previous challenge. There is one thing. You have no interest in listening to such boring things. Instead, let's get to the main issue. Give me nanny system. Then give me this challenge. Why do you do these things? Hearing that, she happily replied, purpose. That's turning him into a great enemy of Acer. Since birth. Your destiny. He is the one who will kill the supreme god Odin. And that's what Loki wants. The ninja Hun listened and his mind was exhausted. You're just human. What's the difference between fighting a god? Use him as a pawn. Hyo knows what you think. She also doesn't care much. Just emphasizing one thing. That this is not a solo thing. Half-ace gods like them. Saying this, he waved his hand and pushed him back to reality. Attached are a few final words. The world is approaching the end of the world. It's all because Odin wants everyone to obey. Under his feet. We need the power of the prophesied one. It has great power. Charge 9 enemies. That person is you. There is no part 2 yet and it has been kicked out of the temple. Ninja Hun lying on the ground. Frustrated because there are still many things that haven't been asked yet. At this time, the new system sends a skill called Blessing of the Pig. With uses, neutralizes all abnormal conditions that come your way. After bringing the ninja Hun back. Now, the new pig turned to talk to the uninvited guest. But that's it. A god like him doesn't show his true form. But it only appeared vaguely as a speck of light. The old man asked this pig what it was like to meet him in person. For her, it's now. If you want to draw conclusions, it's too early. However, in the eyes of a long-lived god. Then he had a feeling. It seems she quite likes Ninja Hun. Pigs are also straightforward. Admit that you are very sympathetic to a person. It can get stronger day by day like that. However, the Mimi god personally ran here. So what's the matter? He just asked such a carefree question. She is not afraid to expose it. The evil old man pretended to be stupid until the last minute. You use a very deceptive appearance. To hide his cunning. Just like my second brother. Think Ninja Hun. She continued speaking. The cause and effect of the great enemy has been distorted. You thought you met him in person. But we cannot recognize it. Looks like your title of intellectual giant. The time has passed. Not only that.
A brief conversation.
It was enough for her to notice. Minza Hun is possessing the left eye that Odin had. Sacrifice for the stream of wisdom. Things he and Loki planned together. She was never informed. So I feel quite angry. Mimi also had no way to respond. I also want to tell you very much. But it's too early now. Anyway, it's fate. Of course Pig knows that. Only thing. She feels that her opponent's manners are still too poor. According to the prophecy. Then you need to overcome many more obstacles. So it's unclear whether there will be any business in the future or not. First day at Mew Academy. A girl suddenly stood in front of him. Then introduce yourself. The name is Park Hannah from the guild. According to her words. Then the representative wants to ride some gifts. Because I know you will soon enroll in school. Ninja Hun. I thought they would bring some magic medicine. Or like 1 or 2 cheap items. Unexpectedly, these are expensive products. Even if you work all your life, you still won't be able to buy it. Raised by a rich lady. Sometimes there are wonderful things about it. While they were wandering around the store, there are several types of items mentioned. Equipped with stealth feature. After, he defeated the Dark Knight boss and was lucky to receive the item. It's a Blevel armor with great abilities. Speaking of invisibility, this is a pretty difficult skill. So not many people want to learn it. He just said to play around. But I didn't expect Hannah to say something. It sounded like lightning struck my ears. The only conqueror in Korea who is invisible. It's my brother. Manage Park soon. You don't know why. Chuchoa didn't expect that, old man. Looking at that expressionless face, it still looks like an evil thing. Right now. A message suddenly appeared in his mind. That there was a treasure gate near them. All young people are destined to enjoy it. Immediately leave the Hana girl behind and run to find her. Thanks to his reconnaissance skills, he determined and found out unidentified precious items hidden everywhere. So, first item picked up after activating this ability is the Mistan ring. Contains terrible magical power. Supports scouting skills. A new character appears. The young man Emojin was taken by his father to buy equipment. He saw him buying things without even looking. The price is a bit expensive. That's why it's up. Isn't the sound of blocking a bit too much? But he didn't care. I insist on those things. It's all because you are the conqueror. Level S in the future. So it doesn't matter if it costs a little. Hone felt a bit awkward and quickly explained. But if you spend that much money. So what should I do with my hospital bill this month? They are clearly a family when it comes to this. He received his father's threatening gaze again, accompanied by an extremely fatherly tone. Life. That's my job, you just need to focus on practicing. Having said that, I agree. Hone could only silently bow his head. Follow all instructions. You are with him. On the way back, many people noticed me. In their eyes, he is quite famous. But Hone felt like a monkey again. Locked in a cage with the label of a genius. Chief. As a child, he wished to become a conqueror. Family life. Always immersed in poverty and darkness. So you are their ray of hope.